Hello and welcome into biology. And at this point in time, we're running through biology review in respect to 2017 section A. At this point in time, we're going to run through section A, and then probably in the next videos, we'll still run through section A's. Then after which, we're going to run through section B. Now, at this point in time, I want you to understand that every year in the examination, there is high chance of question 1 being on cells. So, as a candidate, it's important that you understand that when you talk about cells, you need to have knowledge in respect to identification. That is in respect to the basic structure of the cell, that is the plant cell and the animal cell. It's a must. You need to have knowledge of identification, and then you must be able to state the functions of the identified structures. But that's not it. After which, you must be able to identify the detailed structures that includes the mitochondria, the ribosomes, the endoplasmic reticulum, and of course the Golgi bodies, and state their functions. When you've understood that part, you need to be able to understand plant and animal specialized cells. Now, if you look at the question at hand, it is based on plant and animal specialization. So, as a biology candidate, it's a must that you have knowledge of identification. Upon looking at a given cell, you must be able to state its name, then state its function, state its adaptation, and then state its location in the human body or in an organism. So let us answer the question in from 2017. So name each of the cells above. P, that's a root hair cell. Then Q, that is the red blood cell. R is known as the palisade cell, not the plant cell that most people say R is. This is a palisade cell, not a plant cell. Now that we've identified, we move on to B. The question is asking us to state the function of P and Q. So P, which is a root hair cell, absorbs water and mineral salts from the ground, and other than that, it anchors or holds the plant to the ground. When it comes to Q, which is the red blood cell, it carries oxygen with little amounts of carbon dioxide around the body. And then the question goes on to say, explain the adaptation of for the cells P and Q to their function. Now, understand the term adaptation. Adaptation simply means what makes a given cell to be able to carry out a certain function. What makes P to be able to absorb water and mineral salts and also have the plant held to the ground is the fact that it has an elongated outgrowth. Then, away from there, you can say P has quite a number of mitochondria. It doesn't have chloroplast. Remember, it's a root hair cell. It's found at the roots, so it doesn't have chloroplast. So the absence of the chloroplast facilitates a larger surface area for the mitochondria, so that there can be enough energy for active transport to take place. And then when it comes to Q, it is disc shaped, and the fact that it is disc shaped simply means that it has a larger carrying capacity of oxygen. Then the other question says, where in the leaf is R located? So that's a palisade cell. In the leaf, where is it located? I want you to note that the palisade cell in the leaf is found below the dermal cell. So that's it on question number 1 in respect to what is termed as cells. We move on to question number 2, which is based on enzyme, and it starts with a question on what is an enzyme. So we know to say that an enzyme is a biological catalyst. Now, in this case, we've been given 2 marks, and we can't get 2 marks from saying an enzyme is a biological catalyst. You need to explain further in order for you to get the 2 marks. So we'll probably say an enzyme is a biological catalyst, and a catalyst is a substance that speeds up the rate of a chemical reaction and remain unchanged. Question number 2 says, what is the optimum temperature of the enzyme reaction shown in the graph, figure 2.0? So if you check where the line is at, optimum temperature simply means the temperature at which the enzyme activity is at its best. So if technically this is 35, this point can be anticipated to be at 36 or 37. So 36, 37 will be the optimum temperature for the graph. Then the question goes on to say, at what temperature in figure 2.0 is the enzyme completely denatured? Then we're going to check out on a graph. So denaturation simply means a point at which an enzyme activity has come to an end. So at what point? So we can give 58, 59, or 60. And then there's a question that says, give a reason for your answer in B1 above as to why you are saying that the enzyme activity is completely denatured at 58 to 60. Our reasoning will be, this is because the enzyme activity has come to an end. That's why we've labeled 58 to 60. The question goes further to say, explain why it is important to measure the body temperature of a sick person. Number one, it's a precaution. Number two, to know what type of medication to give to the patient. And it can also help us to know whether the patient's body temperature is at normal, below, or above. Then the question goes on to say, propose 2 ways the body temperature of a sick person can be brought down to normal. So if you have to bring down the body temperature of a sick person, you can give them antibiotics, you can give them also fluids like water, you can also do sponging so that the body temperature is brought to normal. So enzymes are also a regular topic in the examination. As a candidate, I'll encourage you to run through questions and notes based on what is termed as enzymes. Then question number 3 is based on growth and development, and apparently this one is on the life cycle of a mosquito. It says that identify 2 stages in figure 3.0 which are most suitable for the eradication of malaria. So the keynote here was eradication. To eradicate is to remove. So in this case, what 2 stages will be most suitable for the eradication of malaria? Stage 1 will be most suitable at egg stage. Stage 3 is also most suitable. So the 2 stages are stage 1 and stage 2. Question 2 says, for each stage identified in A1 above, state how malaria may be eradicated. So at stage 1, barring all stagnant waters. At stage 3, you can pour oil in water to prevent oxygen from reaching the pupae so that they can die out of starvation, for they won't have food from the process of respiration. Suggest 2 ways in which malaria can be controlled in a community: barring all stagnant waters and mending all broken pipes, cutting all tall grasses, then also sleeping under treated mosquito nets. We can also call for physical killing of the mosquitoes. Then B says, what term is given to the mosquito based on its role in the transmission of malaria pathogen? I want you to note that a mosquito is called a biological vector because it carries the pathogen inside its body. And then we are told to say, define a pathogen. A pathogen is a disease causative or an organism that causes a disease. Number 2C says, name the malaria causing pathogen. This one is Plasmodium. I move on to question number 4, which is based on transport in plants. Which letters in figure 4.0 correspond to the cambium, the xylem, and the phloem? The cambium, according to the structure, will be identified as T because the cambium separates the phloem from the xylem. The xylem will be noted as S and the phloem as U. Explain the function of the parts. Explain the function of S and T in the plant. S, the xylem, transports water and mineral salts. Then T, then other than that, you can say the xylem also helps out with the providing mechanical support to a young plant. Then T, which is the cambium, it carries out cell division. Then it says which letter corresponds to the structure which needs companion cells to function properly. This one will be the phloem, signified by U. And then it says that which letter in figure 4.0 corresponds to the structure in which substances can either move up or down. That will be structure U again, which is the phloem. Finally, we're on question number 5, which is based on genetics. I guess here I just have to do the writing. It says Mrs. Mumba delivered a baby girl in a certain hospital. Mrs. Mumba has blood group O and the father to the girl has blood group AB. Mrs. Mumba sues the hospital for giving her a wrong baby whose blood group was O. And then the question says, explain using a genetic diagram why Mrs. Mumba would win or lose the case. So in this case, you need to be able to draw a genetic diagram that is well labeled. So the first thing we're going to do is to write phenotype of the parents. Phenotype of the parents. That is the phenotype of the parents. So remember, the father was of blood group AB. So that would be blood group, that is blood group AB. And the mother, that is group O. That is group O. That is the blood group for the mother. If we want, we can bring in these lines there. That is parents' phenotype. And note that phenotype is the outward appearance of an organism. Then we have genotype. Then we have the genotype of parents. And remember that genotype refers to genetic composition of an organism. So this one will be A. Remember, the father is AB. So the mother is blood group O. So that is the genetic composition there. And then we have what is termed as gametes. Of course, these are cells. So we're going to say, okay, that is A, that is B, and then we cross. And then that is O, that is O. After which we show the crossing. So this one goes with that one, that's blood group A. They will give birth to a child of blood group A because O is recessive. So this is blood group A because O is recessive, that's A. Then even B will give us B like this. And we also have another B at that end. That is like this. So this is genotype of offsprings. This is the genotype of the offsprings produced. So if you can clearly see, you'll find that of the offsprings produced, there is none that has blood group O. Therefore, Mrs. Mumba would win the case. So from the offsprings produced, there is none that is of blood group O. So you can conclude by saying, in respect to the genetic diagram crossed above, it can be concluded that Mrs. Mumba will win the case because there is no offspring with blood group O. Now, what could have been the correct genotype of the actual father? So a father that could give birth to a child with blood group O with a woman of blood group O is a father that has blood group A heterozygous or B heterozygous or blood group O. At that point in time, it means that you're 100% successive with section A. So for more videos, subscribe. Thank you so very much.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.